right? I don't give a shit about citizenship, I'll see, because I'm all French and they have. No, the Republicans, yeah, but they're anti-military, and I want a pro-military party. I put the legitimists in to piss everyone off. Some good old-fashioned reactionaries.
Russia's just such a lumbering fucking beast of a nation, just so large and cumbersome to play.
Oh, but then I'm state capitalist, which is bad. I think state capitalist is okay in the early years.
Yeah,
Why
you
is my
want to
tax
do
capped? Maybe.
you want to do intervention or state to start, and then do laissez after 1880. Usually. What should I sphere as these guys? I don't know.
Ile de France. I will find. Oh yeah, and then spheres. So I want to sphere. Do I want to sphere the Netherlands?
I'll sphere Ethiopia.
Sardinia, Piedmont.
Because that makes sense.
A sphere Spain. Oh, they're a great power right now, but I want to sphere Sardinia, Piedmont. Oh, and then I want to attack. What's it called? Algeria. Right. Just by war. Conquest. Fight against Algeria. My armies are a mess, but I don't remember how to make them anymore. What was it you wanted? How did you want to set up your armies again?
Equal
like
numbers.
One cav.
Infantry. And
yeah, equal
artillery.
infantry and artillery. One like.
Although.
Like one cav. Oh.
You know, when you're actually at war, you mobilize, and mobilization is all infantry. So a case could be made to just be making, I don't know, like excessive amounts of artillery, but
Cavalry, artillery, yeah.
I don't know if it really even fucking matters in this game. I've never really paid attention to army composition because you just end up throwing 100,000 into battle anyway, and any sense of proportion.
I used to know this shit inside and out though. Like that's the annoying part is I used to know the military in this. I used to know in and out. Fuck. Okay.
All right. Want to do 3-speed?
Work on Sardinia, maybe Switzerland as well. Netherlands. The Netherlands might become a great power, if I recall. Money. Why do I have unemployed people in Languedoc? Subsidize everything.
Come on, game. Give me a single capitalist. Just one. That's all I need. There we go.
Soldiers down. Got the armies eventually. I think it was 30,000 stacks. And it was 4 infantry, 1... If I recall correctly, it was 30,000 stacks. There were 4 infantry, 1 engineer, 4 artillery, and 1 cavalry. I think. That was my standard stack back in the... %. Full funding on everything. Yep. Good. I don't need to. And that's right, you want to build a shit ton of docks because Africa.
Yeah, you need more ports to do that.
It's crazy. I used to know this game so well. It's like I've forgotten so much about this fucking game.
Just clicking the invest in factory button on the same factory over and over again. As the price changes by like £3 or whatever. Fucking piece. Build it! Just build it!
I don't have any money. I don't think I want to, what's it called?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to build these manually. Capitalists aren't cutting it. It's okay. The state will take care of all of your needs.
You're Russia, of course you're gonna have to build it.
Exactly.
Fucking unemployed craftsmen everywhere. Yeah, that's right. If I just put max administrative spending, it goes up to 100.
Yeah, you don't even have to prioritize those.
Right.
It is a shame though, because like the national focus system, it appears like you can do a lot with it, but it's actually quite a small number of things usually.
I still
Like,
think it's good.
well, it says like you can cultivate any pot, but there's no reason to ever prioritize farmers or laborers or officers. So you basically prioritize what? Soldiers, craftsmen, capitalists,
Clergy.
clergy, yeah, maybe bureaucrats on occasion, not usually though, in vanilla.
For the really ass backward countries, I think you.
Hmm?
The really ass backward countries, you still do bureaucrats.
Yeah.
Like a navy upgrade map mode or no?
As a port map mode, I think it's the last button, isn't it?
There's like a way also to just like fast build railroads, no? Way to fast build railroads?
Control click builds the state, I think.
Oh, clicked as what?
Control click builds for the whole state. I will produce all the cement in the world.
Ah, machine parts. How could I forget? I want to build fucking factory. I want to build a machine parts factory in Normandy.
Yeah, there's always a deficit of machine parts at the beginning.
Build a machine part. Where is my fabricate against Algeria? Or just fish? I want to justify. Cap is, what is the cap again? Is it
25, I think.
I don't remember if it's 50 or
25. So here's what's going to happen here, okay? Starting as most autocratic state in Russia, Tsar, we're going to end as a anarcho-capitalist, libertarian, free market, the wealthiest, most capitalistic state on the planet. That's the plan
I
here.
love it. War with Algeria. Best game they've ever made. They'll probably make it with Monarch points though.
Yeah, they will. Someone said to me about Imperator, like they were showing me like a picture of it, like a year ago or something, and they were like, "Oh, see those things at the top that look like Monarch point?" They were like, "Those aren't actually Monarch points." And I was looking at the image and I was like, "Those look like Monarch points to me." But they assured me, and then sure enough, they were Monarch points.
They're fucking Monarch. Why would they add like their like it's like the thing that all fans of their games like universally revile, you know what I mean? Like why is that what you've decided to really just take with you? That's the key thing. That's what makes our games great. Thing that all your players hate. Wiki really is the best game system they ever. Don't understand.
Mm. No, I'm a big fan of this one. I mean, I do get sick of it. Like, it makes me want to throw up when I play it too much. I played it for years with Joe in multiplayer.
We played it a shit ton in multiplayer
We played
too.
it a shit ton over the years. But getting back into it after a break, yeah, it is probably my favorite title they've made. Criticisms of it, it would be nice if there was more dynamic worlds. I think that's why you get sick of it, because it's just very samey every playthrough.
Over and over. Yep.
They don't have events, they don't have the Congo conference, they don't have Spring of Nations. They don't have, the Berlin Conference.
Well, they do have the Spring of Nations. You just get a bunch of Jacobins for
Yeah, but that's just little events. You don't get like the fucking revolutions breaking out and shit trying to secede and all the Italians trying to.
I was being a little snarky. Run from the gutter.
And there is a mod that adds all that, but then it changes the whole economic system.
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
The economic system is the best part of this fucking game.
Well, it changes all the promotion rules, so it makes it into a totally different game on that side of it.
It just seems like a dumb decision, though. Oh, did you guys like this great system we had? Well, we have some cool ideas. We're also going to fuck up some stuff. I have a bunch of Prussians then. Fuck with Prussia at some point. Probably just like put Hanover. Put like Nassau Hesse. The Hessian Rhineland. French sphere.
Yeah, if you sphere like one of the North German princes, then he can't form anything unless he gets rebels.
I want a sphere next. Whims of the game. Oh, my machine parts factory in Normandy is building. Amazing. The next one I want to get is ideological thought, right?
Yeah.
Liberal agitation. Rebel factions are organizing French reactionaries. There's reactionaries in control of the government. What the fuck? I haven't put any. I haven't passed any reforms, and there's reactionaries in charge of the government, and then reactionary rebels are organizing. Question mark? Question mark? I'm gonna pee quickly.
Oh, that irritating sound of a factory expanding, whose audio you cannot reduce.
There are some pretty dumb things about this game.
Nope.
Also, the number of just like tiny shitty events that you have to make decisions about, and all of them suck constantly. Yeah, I think I'm doing clergy just at 2%. Is the idea.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about playing France and Germany.
Yep. You know, I've somehow still never played the UK in this game.
Yeah, I finally played it in Joe's campaigns after not having played it for years. You know, you are the strongest power in the game. It's pretty much it. Yeah.
And then you just stay the strongest
Yeah.
power
Yeah.
in the game.
The other powers do generally surpass you on industry, though. I did notice that.
That's true.
Germany usually surpasses you on industry after they form.
Yep.
For some reason, and it's just like a weird eccentricity about this game, the AI, when the AI plays as Britain, the only national focus they ever do the entire game is encourage craftsmen. It's literally all they do for like 100 years. And
Okay.
just like for some weird reason, you know, they will fall behind on literacy. So by the late game, Britain is always like illiterate compared to other people. But it keeps them number one on industry just through some weird like fluke of the game mechanics. But playing as a human as them through natural means, you know, usually you'll be surpassed on industry.
Yep. Well, you're also funny though, because your whole thing is you.
What's up?
At some point, your whole thing is you always compete on industry.
Yeah.
That's your baby. Good. Our ambassadors have been banned from this.
Yeah, colonies in this game are they're kind of of dubious value on the one level. You know, they give you prestige when you first get them. I would say like the real boon of colonies is the soldier pops that you get. You know, like if I annex the Punjab, right? Like all those millions, like so it's really based on pop. So because Punjab is 2 million, you know, that'll give me so many soldier pops, you know,
Yeah.
later on in the game, and then combine that with medicine and the pop growth you get from that, you'll have more soldiers than another country. That's what I really think the benefit of colony. I don't really notice like the extra resources you get, you know, from colonizing in this, but I don't really notice any difference.
I feel like Africa always has a lot of value.
Never really notice.
Top Axis against area. Classic one right there. Tensions dissipate. Do I really want to make a state in French Guyana? No.
Yeah, so making states overseas is usually a liability.
Yeah. I have a nice group of Algerian nationalists who.
They're usually very low pop, so it'll never industrialize sufficiently. It's usually overseas provinces are extremely illiterate, so you're just dropping your tech rate.
Yeah.
And then if they get occupied during a war, it gives you war exhaustion, which is a huge liability. So yeah, better off keeping them colonies.
That was my feeling as well. My country is starting to get pretty unstable. Wow.
It's because you're France.
Yeah, you do get a little bit of.
We're the birthplace of all the radical ideas of the age. The fucking atheist philosophers, Rousseau and fucking Voltaire. Fucking
Voltaire was religious as shit, though.
the antichrist Voltaire.
Voltaire was like hyper religious. He just wasn't like Catholic, but he was. If you ever read Voltaire, he was really into God.
Well, they were, claimed to be all that stuff by their critics. That's what I'm parroting here.
I know. Hey, next thing I. High and low pressure. I want real. Regulations is pretty. Private banking administrative efficiency is. Have a benefit to getting. Left bank of the Rhine. That's right. I could just declare war on Prussia and take the.
Yep. Yeah, the French were the aggressors during this period. Nobody was afraid of the Germans in 1830.
Germans were small.
Mm-hmm.
What? Spain, how you gonna do? And I'll let Spain win that because they're gonna not be a great power soon. Alright, what do the people want? Most people and voters want universal weighted voting. Give that. On.
Oh, see, my people are
Yeah.
still. I don't even let them leave the land that they're born on.
Do what the people want. That's what is the RGO output in there? It's cotton. Alright, let's build some fucking regular clothes factory. Fabric factory. I forgot. Do I want to take the left bank division? Probably not yet.
Who's he allied with?
Netherlands, no one big, just all the small North Germans. We've got more soldiers than I do. So is he?
Well, I would mobilize first and then
Yeah.
do it. If you mobilize, you probably have a lot more than him. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe a bit of a slog, but you can do
Move
it.
everything out of North Africa.
Yeah, just
I
put
would just kill.
everything in Europe.
I would just kill Germany for the rest of the game.
Yep. Get that right.
Rip. When do I lose the left bank decision? Like 1850, I think.
You have to do it pretty early. I don't know what the requirements are. Career. This whole area in Central Asia, I was like reading about it the other day. It's just fucking wasteland for the most part.
Yep.
It's only this one little valley, the Fergana Valley, like where Kokand's capital is over here, that all the people live there.
Probably make the effort to fix my armies, huh? I want to go get a beer, but it's like I honestly am too fucking like too busy.
Oh no, my militancy. It's rising. It's rising. Don't do that.
Oh no.
I think I have too many minorities.
Careful, that led Germany down a dark road.
Yeah. Don't see any major contributing factors other than that.
So let's see. 5.
I'll be right back for a bit. I'll be back in
Yep,
5
no
minutes.
worries. No worries. First, 3 artillery. Also need 3. Uh, 4 artillery.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
What will be your goals for your French Empire?
I don't know. I'll probably do my standard. Take the left bank of the Rhine. Form up. Take a bunch of fucking Africa, and then just be a big dick cunt. France's natural borders.
Should we let should we let Germany?
No, I was thinking of letting NGF form and then taking North Bank.
Out of all the little
Rather
cunty OPMs.
Yeah, exactly. So get rid of most of the cunty OPMs. Plus, it makes it a little more interesting because then I actually have to fight a half decent power as opposed to Prussia. It's like I'll walk over them. I could do left bank now, but I don't know. Then I'd just stop him from ever. I was playing to win. Then I would definitely do it now.
I'm gonna create a narco-capitalist utopia.
Perfect.
That's my goal. Basically,
Where the oligarchs run the country.
Basically, the opposite of the Soviet Union. I was watching a thing the other day on, the Russian oligarchy, all Putin's cronies. Putin is, allegedly he's one of the wealthiest people in the world, but it's all very secretive.
Hidden.
He's worth allegedly 40 billion.
I believe that. That sounds like some Putin shit to do. I really don't like Putin, I must say.
It's poor countries like Russia and China, that never developed or can't develop, just based on the particularities of them. They can't form
China
democratic.
economically has developed a bunch, but
yeah, but they can't, form, modern, Enlightenment era influenced civil liberties type governments.
Sure.
Which is just kind of sad. I mean, Russia, the standard of living for the average Russian, it has increased significantly under Putin's, control.
Yeah.
And prior to him, life wasn't particularly, great after the fall of communism.
Although, to be fair, yes, but in the last 4 or 5, since Crimea, it started to backslide because the, sanctions and shit really fucked them up in terms of just value of the ruble and all this shit.
So what do you think? Is it worth it for them to, have all these conquests like Crimea and fucking Ossetia and all this, or is it not?
No, I think it's a giant waste of time, but I think it's Putin flexing.
I mean, will they think that it's of strategic enough military importance that it's worth the sanctions, at least? That's what they think.
Well, I think that
if the Ukraine joins NATO or the EU, they see that loss not having Crimea as like a big problem.
Yeah, and I get that perspective. I think the other big part is that I think that it creates the West as like easy enemies. And that Putin can also use that politically, right? Like that's not a particularly difficult punching bag for him to lean into.
Yeah, but the economic problems that would happen to the general public, that's not good for your, staying in power either.
Which I think he's seeing now, but the problem is he can't really walk that back, you know what I mean? Because he's done a whole bunch of fucking propaganda around the idea that, the West is fucking Russia and wants to keep Russia down and shit like that. That's he's kind of walked himself into a shitty corner.
Yeah, I don't see this ending well for Russia, to be honest. I don't think there will be a return of Russia to greatness. It's not going to happen. I was reading something last week though that Belarus is gonna petition to join Russia, so the border will once
Yeah.
again touch with Poland.
Belarus has always been a little fucky like that, though. Like, Belarus has always been kind of Russia's whipping boy. So, that's not that surprising, all in all. Fortunately. Fortunately.
Some of these places are so freaking backward though. I was watching this guy on YouTube, this like British guy who like travels to all these like weird countries no tourists would usually go to. So he had one video and he was like showing us around like the capital of Moldova. And it's just it's like a third world country in the middle of Europe.
Wait, what the fuck? Scramble for Africa? They changed this? Scramble for Africa starts at 1850 now?
No, it's 1880.
Look at the text you need. You need mission to civilize. Oh, that's right, because it's the what is it? The colonial negotiations requires you to have machine guns. That's right. The actual text you need for it unlock at 1850, but you can't unlock colonial negotiations until you get machine guns.
The
Yeah.
inventions that dictated.
Yep. No, I know that, but I just was like surprised that that invention unlocked it breech load rifles. I remember it being machine guns, and then I'm like, oh right, okay.
Well, it gives you like, if you look where I am over here, like where fucking Uzbekistan is and shit, like this, if you have some of them, you can colonize, but Africa you have to wait till like 1880, yeah.
Yep. Uzbekistan is somewhat not important. I think it's safe to say. Did I not build a factory in
How dare
there?
you?
I thought I did.
Mach glorious Uzbekistan.
Greatest nation there's ever been.
Are you from asshole Tajikistan? I forget what he always says is their arch enemy. Something like
That's
that.
Kazakhstan he is there, right? But
Uzbekistan,
yeah,
yeah,
shit.
asshole Uzbekistan. Is that what it was? I can't remember. It's one of them.
I think that's what it was.
Funny. He's a funny motherfucker. Well, all the videos of like his home country, like a fucking horse riding,
Throw the Jews down
riding
the
car, dragging the car. All that was in Romania, sadly.
I know that. That's very funny. Let's build railroads everywhere, 'cause we got money to spare.
Why do you think these get like, you don't want to be like racist about it, but why is it that some countries, prosper and develop so dramatically, and others do not? It's just so staggering to think about. Like Latin America, Romania, like all these places, and just such a stark difference with, France or the Netherlands or whatever.
I mean, I think there is what's it called? There's a whole book on it, but I think a big part of it is the fertility of it, right?
It's a what?
Fertility.
Fertility.
Yeah, like it's much easier to grow crops in fucking Western Europe than the steppe.
No, it's more multifaceted than that. I mean, that is part of it. Well, I guess it's like a complex answer. It's, it's work ethic, it's values of the culture, like India, for example. You may ask, like, why isn't India more materially successful? Well, they were. In the past, most of the GDP of the world economy in like ancient medieval times was in India. But you could say that a civilization that values spiritual progress as opposed to material progress like Europe, doesn't have the incentive. If you think millions of people, if they share that value, it disincentivizes material gain. Could be geography in part, like Latin America is very, funky with all the mountains and shit, hard to build, trade and infrastructure. Same with Africa. Africa's got really shitty geography. It's not like Europe, which is all coastline. I don't know. There's a lot to it, I guess. See, I would be interested in some alternate history universe as like an experiment. Like, instead of have Spain colonize all of the Americas, just like take each ethnicity in Europe and just like give them a country. Like, like Ecuador will like the Greeks, and like Italy will colonize Peru just as like a weird experiment, like in a lab. Only you do it over 200 years.
Well, the best way to do it
and
would
then
be
just
to have
see how each one like turns out.
I mean, the best experiment then would be to have alternative timelines where every country colonizes every country in isolation, right? And so the idea is that you see how is the independent culture today of Ecuador under Greeks versus Germans versus French versus whoever.
Right.
You know what I mean? You do that for every country because then you're also capturing the like local fertility, whatever, just geographic and geographic differences too.
It's kind of like if you take any ethnicity and put them where the Netherlands is, would they also develop into a wealthy, financial, mercantile, seafaring civilization? Is that an inevitability of geography, or is it something inherent to the people instead?
Well, I think you could also look at the the historical background, right? Because the Netherlands came up as Protestant, but they also were very intent on distancing themselves from the repressive regimes of the Spanish. So, for example, if the Spanish had not been so progressive, then the Dutch might not have been so progressive. And because the Dutch were so progressive, they captured a lot of like intellectuals and knowledgeable and skilled workers who were of minority ethnicities from other parts of Europe. That also changed the culture. You know what I mean? So like all of these things feed into each other. I don't even think it's necessarily in. Yeah.
I'll be back in a second. You know, if the same line of reasoning, it's like you compare, if I build like an anarcho-capitalist Russia, you know, kind of like America, like free market capitalist system, you could compare and say, you know, is it something about the geography of Russia compared to the United States that allows it in one case but not the other? You know, so like one argument might be, oh, because America has these big, you know, navigable river basins, a huge Mississippi River watershed, you know, the coastline, that allows it to develop there. But, you know, Russia's got the Volga, they've got the Dnieper. They do have coastline as well, not as much as the U.S.
They also don't have warm water ports, right? I mean,
True.
with the exception of the Black Sea and like Black Sea, they have ports that freeze in the winter. But that's a big deal. That's why Kaliningrad's such a big deal to them too.
You could say that the geopolitics of Russia, you know, always having, you know, powerful neighbors like Germany and stuff, or the Ottomans at their door, the threat of war hinders economic, I don't know, development like the U.S.
I think the biggest argument you could make I think the biggest argument you can make against against hindering of economic development, aside from like a regressive and backward political system, is simply that, again, the land fertility is a bit shit compared to a lot of other parts of Europe, right?
Yeah.
There's a large section of steppe, which means that it doesn't support as high early, like, and concentrated native populations, which means you have a more dispersed population, right? And so, like, when you're more rural, you're more dispersed, you tend to be more backward. That's why even in the US, like, the Industrial Revolution really started in the East Coast cities. It didn't start in the fucking farmlands in the middle. And then it spread into the, like, industrial cities in the Northwest, but still, it kind of came, you know, from that way west. That matters. Like, industrial, like, the just population density matters so much. That's why you can look back to the whole farmland aspect of it and say, well, how do you initially support dense populations? And that's farmland.
Yeah, the U.S. probably does have. Well, we do have, you know, in the Great Plains and the Mississippi watershed, we do have the largest, I think, arable, like, proportion of territory compared to other countries.
Yeah, possible. I mean, but that's also, yeah. The U.S. is also weird, right? Because you have to keep in mind that the U.S. is largely driven not by, like, you know, thousands of years of local growth, but more by overpopulation in Europe and immigrant growth.
Yeah.
That also changes. Like trying to compare the U.S. and Russia is harder. I think comparing the U.S., like, in a way, comparing the Netherlands or France and Russia is actually or Germany and Russia is easier to do than to compare the U.S. and Russia. Just the goofy nature of American history. I'm going to quickly run to the shop. We'll be right back, right?
Yeah.
I have to wait a few minutes because I have to wait for state and government to finish. It happens soon. I don't want to waste a bunch of points.
Well, you save up 2 years worth, so you're probably fine.
2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a year at most, maybe.
Oh.
It probably would be fine.
Yeah, maybe it is a year, but yeah, whatever.
Whatever. No, I'm not going to help Denmark.
How dare you
against...
not help Denmark?
Like, yeah, can you help us against fucking the British trying to take Danish Ghana? I'm like, you don't deserve colonies. Shut up. Go ahead and Bourgeon. Alright, now I'm in a good place to go to the shop. I'll be right back. What just happened?
Nothing for me.
Where do I see how much research points I've saved up? Oh, here we go. Cool. Administrative efficiency is valuable, not valuable?
I mean, once you're at 100, you don't really have to pay the
Right,
bureaucrats,
okay.
to be honest.
That's true. That's right, I want to do like
Just let them eat
mining
dirt.
and farming
Yeah.
output.
But admin efficiency, it is a good like resource in this. The more admin efficiency you have, it doubles the rate of pop promotion, if I recall.
Yeah.
Or like if you don't have it, it halves it, in the other way, if you want to put it that way.
The country's doing pretty well on employment. I'm well overboard on clergymen, though. Yeah, next up, clergyman. Oh, shit. Getting that clergy and craftsman rates up. Already slipped to third on industry, which is crazy.
Yeah, the big things you can do really are just sort of in broad strokes, honestly, is all you're able to do. Get your
Yep.
literacy up as high as possible. Build a factory, at least one factory in every state. I think that's like a 10% promotion there. Clergy leads to literacy, which leads to craftsman promotion. And yeah, promote craftsmen. That's about it. That's all you can do. Oh, promote pop growth. That helps. Looking with interest at the nationalities map mode. It's the way the world is divided up. Yeah, if you look at Croatia, it's like a city in there where a bunch of Czechs, since the start of the game, just moved and took over. It's kind of funky. A Jello bar, but it's like purple now.
Lovar.
I don't know. Should they divide German into North and South? I don't really feel that should be a thing.
I don't think it's actually that unreasonable, to be honest. At this point in history, I think it kind of makes sense.
It's Catholic and Protestant, but
even today, the Germans kind of view themselves as South.
North and South Italian makes more sense.
Think than German?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I'm less familiar with the Italian way, but if I look at the Germans, my surface instinct sees it actually the other way around, I would say.
Mm. They just make French one monolithic culture group in this.
Yeah, but they also penalize it with pop growth, so.
Oh yeah, do they? Do you have lower life rating?
Yeah, than Germany. I'm 32 and Germany's 40.
It's another weird determinism in this, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of that, unfortunately. Fantastic game, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
predeterminism.
Brittany, that could be a different culture. The South, is kind of a different culture.
Brittany is definitely a different culture. Brittany, I buy 100% as a different culture. I'm not sure I buy that South and North French are more different than South and North German. That would be my instinct.
Corsican. Oh, there's no Scotland. They've merged Scottish and English and Welsh and Cornish into one big culture in this. And Northern Ireland.
How am I doing on Bad Boy, actually? Alright, so I need to wait like a couple. 30 stacks down to go serve in North Africa. Fuck up Tunis quickly. Hey, shit. Why am I getting a trip? That's pretty good. Alright, I got some factories building. I got a shit ton of prestige. Most prestige in the game. Prussia has beaten me already on industry. Wow. Alright. Impressive.
Yeah, Prussia's development was actually pretty retarded. Retarded meaning slow for a while.
Really?
Yeah, I was reading about it yesterday. The
Well, they
Rhine,
went the full, like, military route, right?
the Rhineland industrialized, like, and urbanized really, like, quickly and early. But even in, like, through the 1800s, like, Prussia proper, around Brandenburg and stuff was still, just like the Junkers just had these huge farmlands allotted to them, and they were very like focused, very limited in the crops that they grew, so their economy never really took off until later on. I mean, if you think about it, it took until 67, right, with Austro-Prussian War, so it did take a long time. Not that certainly Austria wasn't on the cutting edge.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. Of the Tunisian menace. Yeah, Tunisia's really gonna fuck up France. Always funny when you go to an event when you're against like some fucking nonsense minor country and you're like, okay, sure. Why not?
Coming right for us.
We are rich in France, my god.
Yeah, I like how I'm just like amassing a huge fucking like surplus in the treasury. It's like just casually like like almost 2 million pounds, from the Russian taxpayer. I'm just like sticking it in this room over here.
In your pockets.
Yeah. Like 20 years of taxes. Future generations will thank you.
Who else do I put in my sphere? I got Madagascar. Who has? You always putting Chinese provinces in your sphere is always good, right? That's like big money.
You usually can't do it. It's usually too.
Oh, true, because the
big.
pop is too high.
Yeah.
Yep. I put Brazil in my sphere? Can't, they're also too big. Interesting.
No, Brazil you can do. Brazil's not too big.
I have 0%. You have a bigger population than me. Oh wait, there we go. Yeah, you're right. My bad. Alright, Tunisia. Prepare to get fucked. In the sphere of the Ottomans, do I care? Do I care? How big is their army? Oh, I don't care. I have more people in Tunisia than the Ottomans have in their entire army.
No, the Ottomans are the sick man of Europe. You can actually make the Ottomans kind of decent. It takes a while. By 1900, you can become a pretty okay power.
Halfway decent, yeah.
Halfway decent, yeah.
Yeah, the Ottomans didn't even join in the end. They were like, yeah, I don't think we want war with France. Oh boy, already over with clergymen everywhere.
It's okay. They give you literacy up to 4.
I know it's fine, but you're still like a precious time on activities. Oh, okay, interesting. That's true. I can invest in factories in Alsace Lorraine because I not gonna lose it. That's nice.
Yeah, true.
Let's build railroads everywhere. Remember like one game we did where I was playing the US and you guys were at war with China forever, so then like most of the US became
Yeah, I
Chinese.
remember that. That was funny.
It was
Didn't
super funny.
it drop your literacy to like 2% or
Yeah, it
something?
completely fucked up my literacy. And like most of my provinces were over 50% had Chinese, and I was like, what the fuck?
That's fucking funny. This game.
Like I wasn't even involved in the war. I just got like fucked by it because there's just so many I couldn't even assimilate them.
Yeah, well, they do westernize. It takes a while. We do eventually hit the Bhutan.
I'm even not taxing my capitalists all the way. How rich I am.
Yeah, I don't notice any real effects of tax policy in this game. I hate to say it. Less taxes, they do tend to fulfill more of their needs. for each strata, but nothing
Well, I thought with
too significant. That's about it.
I thought with the capitalist, what you could do then is you could they would invest more in factories and shit. But I guess it's only valuable when you're.
Yeah, but they're fucking inept. And
That
then
show, that was the comic, right?
And then most of your upper class are fucking the useless aristocrat, landowners. So you're just fucking giving them a tax break for nothing.
I love our like just relentless hatred of the aristocrats.
It's like, oh, you own all the land in the country, and you don't just the idle rich, not doing anything with it. You want to build, start a business, build a factory. Any interest in that? No, we're quite satisfied. Thank you. Thank you for the tax exemption.
Can I find it? Hold on, let me see if I. There's some gems in here.
Just making fun of this shitty game.
I'm just gonna post it in the what's it called? This is the one I was thinking of. Why is it not turned into a link? There we go. Humble Cabal. I love this one. This just fucking kills me. Alright, I'll ally Austria. Why not? We're all friends in northern Italy.
They're building nice boats for the wealthy to enjoy. What's wrong with that?
Clippers aren't even like nice sailing yachts. They're the shitty things with the paddle wheel.
I know.
Also, hold on. This one. Let's see. This one. And this one both kill me. These guys, whoever this was, it was like really like he could have been from our group. The games he has episodes about.
Yeah, these are our jokes, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they really are.
Liberalism.
Nazi Germany, the Ming Empire, the fucking whatever scourge. Little yellow flag. Hi. It's fabulous. It's so good. Alright, so is this guy going to form NGF? Is he not going to invade Denmark? Or is he not invading Denmark because I'm allied with Denmark?
Yeah, well, that would probably be a factor, true.
I dissolved. Let's let him invade Denmark.
Hanover. Yeah, so he has that.
Yeah, he's a truce with Denmark and Holstein.
He's taken Saxony off of Austria. Yeah, so he just needs...
Holstein.
He just needs Denmark now.
Yep. I'll pop left bank in the end of 49, I think, so that I have the what's it called for a few years. Then hopefully he'll form, and then I can beat him up. Take his shit. Take his shit, mate. Mate, I'm gonna take his shit. We don't have a naval base. A great game. Is interchangeable parts good? I can't remember.
The one thing about this game is just like you can't annex the capital province region until like the very end. And it's just so bizarre. Like an invading army. Like I invade Persia, right? And I just annex all the territory around Tehran. This
You
series of
can't take
wars,
Tehran.
but I can't take Tehran. Silly game.
Paradox, baby, it's gonna be silly. We have like the most hilarious, sadistic love-hate relationship with Paradox.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I was looking at jobs in Paradox for a while. I was thinking about applying to them. I didn't in the end, though. I do love your games. I also hate all of you. What about this? But I only hate all of you because I love your games.
Well, I was doing some modding last year over the summer, and I definitely like. I'm not, educated in computer programming, but it took me a while. But after a couple months, I was actually getting the hang of it, and like a
Yeah, it's not
working.
actually that difficult
No,
once
no,
you
no,
start to like.
no. It was time consuming, very time consuming. A lot of
Yes.
trial and error, and a lot of just reading the fucking error log and just hitting your head, just trying to figure out what the issue is. I ended up stopping making the mod because it was turning into like a second job that was unpaid. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not fucking doing this. Um, but
What
maybe
was the mod for?
it was for Europa Universalis, and it was based. I think I showed it to you, didn't I? Or I showed Shoggy or someone. It was like Diablo universe, but in
Oh,
Europa.
interesting. Okay.
Did I show you the map of that, or did I never?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I
Nah.
made the map. I got it
Oh wow.
to
Okay.
generate, like so the world. You could see the whole world. I had written out all the countries and things that would occupy it. So I wrote out the province list. I wrote out the religions. Some of the issues, like there's a number of different variables. So if you create a religion, it's nice to have like a little icon for it. So I made like one really good one, which was like a bust of like Socrates, and it was like this shaded color, and it really fit the style of like the game really well. And then I like ghetto style took a couple icons from their own like weird versions of Europa. Like there's like I don't know if you've ever seen like the Polican religion. Like if you load up a Crusader Kings like save in Europa, you can see the Polican icon. So I hijacked a couple of those, which kind of fit. But then the rest of the art, trying to create it on your own, it always just came out really shitty looking. Um,
Right.
I figured out how to edit the font, which looked really cool. So, like how in Diablo you have like the Gothic font. So I got that to work on the provinces, which was really cool. And it was kind of coming along, but then I got to the governments, and every time there's like one variable doesn't match with the other, you can't launch the game. And so I realized I would have had to fucking sit there for month after month after month and just go
Uh,
through it, design my own governments. And this, by the way, was right when they were creating their whole new government system. And I was
okay.
just like, oh, it's just like work. But if I'm ever rich, it did actually get me kind of interested in it. If I'm ever independently wealthy and I just want something to do, because I was actually enjoying it, even though it
Yeah.
was turning into a job, and then maybe make like a Patreon page like for it,
Yeah.
like to support the mod, then I could see doing it. But just
Yeah.
general, it was just getting to be too much.
I feel that. I've done like some mod. I did some basic modding back when I was like. I actually made you remember Warcraft 3? How there's like a
Yep.
lot of mod capabilities.
Yeah.
I made a Warcraft 3 map that like had coding in it and stuff, and I basically taught myself how to code in
Yep.
that. And that was cool. That was very cool. I enjoyed that a great deal. Oh, I have French in North Africa. Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder why. See how many people live in Western Sahara.
Western Sahara.
3,000.
Alright, and North Bank. Now we need them to man up and fucking form. They don't have a truce. They have I have an acquire state against them. Is that how that works? Or they have an acquire state?
You have one against them. For Russian
I think that's
land. Oh, he's allied
Yep.
with Britain, so just make sure you have a stack in Dunkirk to hold with.
Yeah.
And then you should mobilize before you declare war.
I want him to fucking form first. Like, that's my goal. Like, I want to have an NGF. I don't want all these shitty miners to exist for the rest of the game, because that's dumb. Oh shit, I have not. Oops. Commerce raiders are quite good in this period. And that's how that works. Rebels forming in my country. Syrian national. Can't man up and just go to war with fucking allied to. And he's at war with the United Kingdom. Most useless fucking. It's 1850, baby. I don't know what the most important thing is in 1850. Is nationalism and imperialism is I also wanted to attack Belgium at some point. Like, I guess the Netherlands. They allied with Spain and Luxembourg. I already lost my war? Wow, that's fast. I didn't realize the left bank is so fast. It was less than a year and I lost the CB.
Yeah, the CBs don't last long at all. No.
Easy.
I had this CB on the Dutch, and it was like 1 week left. I was like, oh, should I do it? Should I not do it? And then I was like, fuck it, let's fucking do it.
Fuck it. Let's fucking go, bro. You're at war with the Dutch? Why are you at war with the Dutch?
I got like one of those weird arbitrary like, oh, here's a CB on some fucking random place like on the other side of the world. Do you know how you always get those when you play this game? And usually I ignore them. But I was like,
time in the sun or whatever, right? That kind
yeah,
of thing.
that bullshit. So I was like, so usually I ignore them.
But this time you were like,
This time
here.
I was of the eat shit school. Still have the Russian Navy. I did not delete it this game.
Eat shit. Alright, let's take Wallonia. They're French, basically. Wallonie. Who are they allied with? Just Spain, right? Yeah, fuck them then. I'm gonna go to war with the Netherlands as well. They have how many soldiers? 43. I only have 40. That's mobilized. And Spain has 15 mobilized. Doesn't it? Alright, we're gonna acquire state on the Netherlands. That should be fun. Sorry, Dutch brothers. God, I was discovered fast as fuck. We're back. Well, I like don't have capitalists in my country. I only have fucking aristocrats.
Yeah, you have to promote them manually usually.
working on soldiers right now, unfortunately.
Oh, Schleswig was freed by the Swedes.
Yeah, I saw that. Weird. What should I take? In my sphere. Oh, I was thinking about doing that before.
Besieging the great Dutch stronghold of Assen.
What?
The great Dutch stronghold of Assen.
Oh.
Oh, he conquered Belgium. Okay.
What?
The Dutch.
Yeah, I conquered Belgium. I'm actually about to invade them to take Belgium myself. I'll take Wallonia. Portugal is fabricating on Oman. Okay. How the fuck did I lose? Alright, we'll mobilize. Jesus Christ, I don't want to. Fucking make me. Ugh. I don't understand how I lost that battle though. Full military spending. At forts.
Just hope us being at war at the same time won't fuck up the war score required.
There, if you what are you trying to get?
Java.
I just won't go north of like my current.
Okay.
I can get the capital.
I think I just need 20 and he'll peace.
Yeah. Amsterdam should give you that, no?
Yeah.
I just need to go. If I just invade Spain, that should do. Or some like random fucking Spanish ship. I'll pull out of middle. Grab that bad boy.
The Russian
Do you control?
conquest of Java. Oh, ridiculous.
You control. What's it called? You
War
don't actually
goal?
control
No, no.
That's a problem. Let me see if I can go after Spain a bunch, and that might get us there.
I got it.
Here, pull out, because I'm gonna start moving
Yeah.
my soldiers up.
I'm in exile, so they don't count anyway.
That'd be cool if that's how it worked in real life. You're just like, oh no, we're in exile, so we don't eat.
Yeah. True.
Hey. Some parts of this game are broke now. Like if I want to take over Luxembourg, it's like it'll cost me 20 fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Is
Luxembourg,
that
which
right?
has 30,000 people, costs 25. Same with Montenegro. Same with Krakow, which goes unannexed the entire game.
Yep.
No, like a reasonable system, it would be like proportion of pop to infamy gained. It's very broken.
Deeply in. That's more money in Brazil. I have railroads, Brazil. Building them in the Amazon. French money. French money built this railroad. Never forget.
Sorry, say it again.
No, I need to get Brazil to be on my
Yep.
to take Brazil from. So I'm just pouring like money into it.
Oh,
So I'm like
investing.
railroads everywhere. Enjoy railroads, Brazil. French money. Never forget. All right. So what other soldiers did I lose? So I lost one artillery and one infantry. Three. Let's just do. Why is that still on? Russian Java.
trying to keep my militancy down for once, and it's very hard because I changed parties earlier. I feel like it's permanently at 0.7 now. I was gonna try to stay Slavophile, but you know, the capitalists just weren't like coming up with project ideas, so didn't really have a choice.
The capitalists weren't coming up with project ideas. What a great sentence. They didn't want to build clipper factories?
I mean, it is the more... I don't know if it is more efficient than just doing it through like the nationalist building. As the US, you kind of have to do it that way, and then some of the other powers, I try to do it through the interventionist, because then you don't get more militancy. But it's really just annoying if you fund the projects page, because they don't build it immediately if it's at 100% like raw materials for the factory. They like they have everything, and then they fucking sit there for I don't know what reason. And then you keep and then like the prices change, then you have to give them like £5 more, and you just keep clicking the fucking button over and over again, and just get madder and madder, and then they still don't do it.
But you're doing that shit manually? Jesus.
Yeah, if you do that manually, well, if you're the US, you don't have an alternative because you can't put Nationalist Party in charge.
Right.
But that is one of the few ways you can build your industry over the long term, because if you go on the pop page, right, for like a province, click on like a farmer or something, that is a big modifier to get craftsmen. Is there a factory in the state? Yes, no. And if there is, it's like 10% or something, which is huge. So build one factory in every state at the opening.
Why is Prussia not fucking...
He has to sphere Schleswig.
Yeah, but he's not even trying.
He is. Very slowly. 0.2 a second.
Brazil is now in the French sphere. I love that. That's big booty money right there.
Yeah, I got some good ones. I got Siam, Vietnam,
Nice.
Korea, and Ethiopia, because those all make sense to be a part of the Russian sphere of influence. Nothing weird about that.
Mine are more logical on the whole. Mine are, let's see, Papal States, Sardinia, Piedmont, Switzerland, Madagascar, because that is a thing, and then Brazil. And the next one's Egypt. Don't want that Suez, baby.
So allegedly, anything in your sphere, it's like part of your common market, and it allegedly that's supposed to improve your economy because you sell to them before the world's market, allegedly. But I've never really noticed the difference. So
it's hard to. I mean, that gets such nuanced shit that sometimes it's hard to. All right. Whoa! What happened with this army? What happened with this army too? Oh, my army's got a little fucked up. Oh, my army's got a little fucked up. That's a functioning. France is rising on the military power list. overtook the Russians, overtook the Austrians, Russians.
That great a land.
That great a land. Unstoppable menace. I'd like to see the forts in French border, the Spanish border get struck. Apparently, I accept French Canadian as a
Good to know.
culture. Maybe I should attack the UK and take Canada.
I like how Kiva is 80,000 people, and if I get discovered doing this, it's going to be 10 infamy. Terrible use of infamy, just to make the borders look nice.
But you're seriously considering it because I know you.
Well, of course I'm going to do that. I mean, why would I even have to ask?
Look at you. You took all the Persia and everything. You've been busy, boy.
It's not a whole lot of French Canadians. I'm just looking at it.
What is happening in Schleswig? Holy shit, NGF. I need you to form so I can take like the Rhineland. Like I have a goal here. It's to kill you.
It's about 100,000 French Canadians in total. Oh, should we do this? Spain.
You what, invade
Asking
French
for
Canada?
no, Cuba. Cuba crisis. Spain is asking for my help. Should we help Spain?
I didn't get involved.
Well, I'm asking because I'm the first one they're asking what you want to do. Should I help Spain?
I would rather help Cuba because then I can go fuck up Spain.
Okay.
You help Cuba? No.
No, Spain asked. It might cycle to Cuba if they all refuse, though.
Let's see. Oh yeah, now it's cycled to Cuba probably for you. You can decline it too. I declined it, so I declined both.
I'm about to declare war, so I'm not going to be asked now.
Yeah. No one wanted anything.